Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to share the breakdown of this geometry node Hagelslag. So I made this for 1 hour. So it's basically like the Dutch thing. It's basically like a bread that you sprinkle with butter, and then you put some chocolate on top of it, chocolate sprinkles. And yeah, I think this could be an interesting geometry nodes procedural creations. And this is actually famous in other countries as well. In Australia, we use these sprinkles. So I have a different version of these sprinkles. So yeah, so currently my setup is maybe definitely can be improved, but we have the chocolate and the sprinkles anyway. So this is also kind of famous in Indonesia, I think, because it's under colonizations from the Dutch at some point. So yeah, we have this interesting food. All right, so let's take a look inside it. It seems complicated. Yeah, I said it. It is actually took me around 1 hour to make this, but there's a lot of things that can be improved. So this is like version 1. First of all, we have a bread. Actually, I think at some point the sprinkle should be like a separate objects and something that you can draw yourself using curve. That kind of neat if you can do that. But anyway, I have a bread. I created this bread simply just using curve because we don't have extrude yet. I use curve to mesh and simply first of all, I'm using this curve line. So it's like a extruded circle. So I have this circle which is in this shape that's been rotated. And anyway, I have this bread that's basically like an extruded circle. So it's like a donut. It's not perfect, but it's kind of making like a bread shapes like a frame. And so each one of them have different material, like a normal bread, slice of bread. This bread definitely not perfect, but I'm focusing more on the butter part and the chocolate sprinkles. So with the chocolate sprinkles, I make it a little bit fancier. It's actually a star shapes, and I can randomize these butter shapes. So it's kind of fancy that way. You might already can tell what's going on. It's basically just like 2 stars that's being extruded and being filleted. Sounds really complicated, but let me bring this for now. Group output, and then I just plug this there. Okay, this is actually the butter and the sprinkle part. So it looks really weird and fancy because it's, if you have 2 stars and you start playing with the fillet and then you go over the value, it's becoming like a weird looking geometry. Yeah, sometimes you get that, but I think it's kind of cool, so I just keep it there. But yeah, just feel free to play around with that. For now, just for simplicity, just we're gonna make it simple. So the next thing I did was to fill the curve. So we have that shape, and then distribute some points, point to volume, volume to mesh. So I get this buttery kind of shape, and the rest is probably already self-explanatory. Just sprinkle some random chocolate on top of it. The random chocolate is just Bezier and a curve. I'm using Bezier, so I have that kind of curvy looking chocolate because it's never really straight. And I can make this longer or longer or shorter, just playing around with this value. So a lot of potential there. And I set the material as chocolate, but I have also this switch geometry to switch between the two instance. The other one is just this icosphere that I can make a little bit more rounded. Yeah, I think it's looking like nice sprinkles. And I simply use distribute points on faces, so I can sprinkle all this little thing. I control the density using this value. So just sprinkles on top of this really thick butter. Maybe it's a little bit too thick for the butter. But for now, I think this should be okay. Like, so we have a single geometry, which is just the original default cube that's been turned into this Hagelslag. Again, it definitely can be improved, and I think there's a lot of variations of Hagelslag. You've done donuts with sprinkles, and now I think Hagelslag is kind of a variations of it, very much the same. But I think with a Hagelslag, you can actually have multiple array of this bread. Okay, I think I should definitely make a better looking bread. So, and maybe stack the bread on top of each other like this. Maybe, yeah. But for now, this is the result, and hopefully this can be useful, and you can improve this definitely. I give you the blend file, and then you can play around with it, so you can have a better looking Hagelslag. But this is the whole idea. This took me 1 hour. It could took you another 1 hour to make this a little bit better. And I think, yeah, I really like the idea of having just a slice of bread as procedural objects, and then you kind of draw and sprinkles the butter on top of it. So instead of using this curve, we actually use our own curve. It's probably better that way. And yeah, instead of doing it this way, but yeah, that can be a different procedural creations. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.